Anything else you want to cover in this session?
Well,
Yeah.
I interrupted you when you started saying something that I wanted to talk about,
Yeah, what is it?
which is if you don't like like me trying to follow my very fit friends up this mountain, if you don't have regular fitness, like proper regular, then you are not going to be very fit. If you're not pumping iron all the time, you ain't going to have those muscles. So the same is for your strength of fighting fear. If you're not
your immunity to it, or strength.
if you're not getting practice and engaging in it, then you're not going to get more strength and confidence and muscles to get the job done.
Yeah, like we were saying before, if you're not invited into fear, then you can never become immune to it, and you can never discover that you're greater than it, that it is actually a ghost. And if you don't walk through it, you'll never find it, because if it's there at a distance, you're like, oh, then
it can always
then you're always afraid of it. But if you actually walk through it, you go, oh, it's a ghost. Another one, So
exactly.
you're walking around this haunted house of horrors, and each fear is if you want to eventually escape the haunted house, you have to keep walking through the ghosts that are standing in the doorways, stopping you from going from room to room and eventually out the front door. So I suppose that's it, that you have to call fear's bluff and walk through the ghosts. Like,
brainwash yourself.
Otherwise you'll never realise that faith is actually a ghost. Faith is a ghost? No, fear is a ghost. That fear is a ghost, and that you have to walk through it in order to find that out. And then to find out, oh, that didn't actually, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And then you're more equipped to take on a bigger fear.
Yes.
And so on and so on and so on. And that's actually what happens on the journey, that you get more bigger fears presented to you. Because, as I said in, I don't know, maybe the first session, everything that happens to you is for the perfection of your peace. In the same way, you're being made more perfect, if you like. You're being made more in line with your design. You're being made more in sync with nature, with reality.
Down.
You're being sanded down like Pooh Bear in that lovely book, The Tao of
Pooh.
Tao of Pooh, whatever you want to say.
And the Tay of Piglet.
And the Tay of Piglet. It's beautiful. It's like sanding all the rough edges off. And the only way you can sand your rough edges off is to actually
confront stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
and then that's the sandpaper. If you want to call it, okay, let's carry the analogy through. The fear is sandpaper, and you have to walk through the fear in order to be more sanded down to the real you.
Because what sandpaper? If you put sandpaper on smooth wood, it's not going to catch. It's not going to stop because it's just there's no friction. But you'll catch all these little things. So then when fear comes going over you, and you've already sanded yourself down from so many other times,
gets easier and easier.
It gets easier and easier.
But also the catch is an indication of where it is you need to work.
It's a big light going here.
Where do I need to work on myself? What is this? What are my biggest fears? What do I feel like? Well, always your body's sending up these flares saying, the way you're thinking about this is incorrect. So I'm going to give you a little zap. So you're like, and you get this shock to wake you out of the fear.
The wrong way, yeah.
So you become better at that. You get stronger, and you become more aware, and you spot the signs quicker. Like that video that we discussed, where I got caught up in my biggest fear.
Yeah.
I got out of it quite quickly because time and time again, I'd applied the same methods, and then I found that once you let it go, it's like, well, we're still here making videos. Nothing bad happened.
Yeah, exactly.
We're still eating.
Yes.
So
you're creating a new groove for yourself.
Yeah, and it's hard because the old groove is very deep.
The beginning is the hardest.
Yeah, the beginning is the hardest because it is very addictive as well, because you feel so alive.
Yeah.
Because you have all these sensations and you feel powerful when you get angry and so on, and you feel important when you feel sad, because it's like, oh.
And also with fear, you feel very present in the moment.
Yes, with fear, you feel present in the moment. There's all these fake powers. There's all these false powers that are leading you astray. And it does take a certain amount of but
it's abstaining
honestly,
from the lower hanging fruit.
Yeah, you're abstaining from the low hanging fruit, which are accompanied by a buzz. and it's kind of forgoing that buzz for something greater, like for like a momentary buzz, and then you get like a more even keel buzz, like a more long-lasting buzz.
You know, it's a bad buzz versus like a peaceful buzz.
It's actually an irritation if you really break it down and you feel it. That's one thing we still haven't gone back to the desire thing in detail, but though a lot of those buzzes are actually an irritation. You know, it doesn't actually feel good. It's something that you want to extinguish, and so you chase the thing that'll extinguish it. But it's actually an irritation. It's not actually a nice feeling, and your body's tense, and you're pumping all these hormones around your body and stuff like that, and you're not using them, so it just gets trapped. Yeah, we have these balls of energies that sit inside us, you know, and if you really kind of, you know, just get present with yourself and just, like, I don't know, it was a couple of nights ago or whatever, I was just lying in bed, and there was just kind of some kind of like feeling that I couldn't shake properly. It was just kind of like, what is this weird feeling? And maybe it's attached to the fact that there was a celebration in where we are now, and I had a couple of glasses of wine the night before or whatever, and the next day maybe I was kind of detoxing or whatever it was, my body was shaking it off or whatever, but I felt it just a little bit. And also maybe we ate out with other people, and it wasn't, you know, Francesca's food is amazing, and we eat a very clean whole food diet, so maybe we, you know, there was a couple of things that wasn't fully
There's a lot of normal food.
It's not even it's a lot of refined stuff maybe. I don't know. Still very, very wholesome stuff because of the country we're in. It's amazing and delicious. But if your body's not used to it, but I'm straying.
You had this
I felt this kind of energy, and I was like, what is that energy? And you just went into it, and just I could close my eyes because I was in bed, and I closed my eyes and felt for the energy. And where was it? And just this kind of a dark bubble of energy inside,
like a dense weight.
Yeah, a dense kind of weight, and it was just like really. And there was no getting past it. I mean, you could distract yourself away from it, or you can do something else or whatever. But I was just like, no, this I can't be talking about this kind of stuff. And then when I get encountered with a heavy piece of energy, I need to trek up that shortcut. I need to go up that mountain, so then we can talk to you guys about it. And because we didn't really have people, you know, you'd read certain things, but we didn't have actual physical people in our life that could help us with this stuff. So I think it's nice to be able to form a community of like-minded people and be able to share stuff, even with your comments. Like they're sharing some great insights. And I went into it, and I actually realised that it's kind of a bubble that any kind of trauma.
He's going through some trauma, it sounds like.
The donkey is expressing himself.
Donkeys always sound like they're really sad, but then they're kind of like happy when you're close to them. Anyway, sorry.
So I think that it was this kind of deep bubble of energy that just had to come up, and I suppose you can think of it two ways, like, oh no, woe is me, and this is really horrible or whatever. You can go, this is something that my body wants to get rid of right now. It's making me, it's sending, like a burp. Yeah, exactly. There's a gas trapped, and there's a pain that accompanies it to make you aware that we've got to put the light on this guy. We need to, this isn't serving us at all, this energy. So I put my light on it, and I just kind of like, what is it? And I kind of realized that when you're small, you're not physically, you know, big enough and stuff to stick up for yourself certain times, or you can't impose yourself on your reality or connect with your reality because you're kind of bossed around and told what to do a lot and stuff like that. And that's why teenagers, I think, rebel, because they're getting bigger and stronger and coming into themselves physically, and then they're like, no, I don't want to do that. And there's a lot of fights and stuff like that because they're actually, for once they can actually express, I'm not happy with this. I'm not okay with just being with my interaction with you being a to-do list, or tidy this up or do this. Why can't we have some real communication and all that kind of stuff? And we can go into that more detail at another time. But I realized that there was stuff in my past that was like a bubble of energy had formed from just not being able to express certain grievances. And as you get older, you get bigger and stronger and stuff like that. And I think that's where our reactivity comes from. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I think that's where our reactivity comes from. That's where our defensiveness comes from. So, you know, like we become defensive in certain situations, and it might just be a conversation which turns into an argument because you're holding tight onto your particular point of view, and you feel you identify with, and you're like, that's me. And if someone else is threatening that, then they're threatening me, and I have to stand up for my position because I put my stick in the sand. And there's all that. And I think as you get bigger and stronger, and you're living your own life, and you become independent of those people who might have bossed you around, or circles of people that might have bossed you around, or only because they were passing their stuff on. It's almost like a tank of pressure builds up inside in you, and if you haven't twisted the release valve and kind of like release that pressure, then you're kind of like the camel with the last straw on his back. You kind of like everything is, if you find yourself being a little bit more irritable and things annoy you a bit easier, or you haven't got time for your child, or
your fuse is shorter.
Your fuse is shorter. It's because that tank has reached its maximum level, and it's the intelligence of your body telling you in no uncertain terms that like you've reached max, you need to release some of this stuff, because otherwise you're just going to blow, and then the blowing is like, you know,
uncontrolled.
It's fight or flight. It's silence or violence. It's basically you attack. You how do I say, you overreact to a certain situation, because if you're looking from the outside of an alien land, they go, you kind of overreacted about the dishwasher there, Jer. A little bit over the top, you know. You didn't have to eat your head off. And it's like, you know, it's unreasonable behavior.
So it seems reasonable to you.
Of course it does,
in
because
that moment, because you've got all of this magma built up.
Yeah. You might as well just be going, I'm not happy. And that's what people shouting at you or screaming at you or overreacting to something or whatever, they're literally might as well just be going, and like they didn't get to go when they were small. So now this is their way of going, because someone put a lid on it. When you wanted to express yourself, someone put a lid on it and stopped you from expressing yourself in that particular time, and they made you feel small and they squashed you down. And it's not fair that they did that to you.
But it's not their fault.
But it's not their fault, because they were just releasing their valve in the only way, because it was just about to pop, and they went and like and they just bit your head off, and it was like that they were just releasing their poison on you because they had to just let it out. So let's break the cycle, guys. Let's break the cycle and stop. We're just becoming a source then for somebody else. We're filling up their tank.
Yes. Oh my God.
And then they have to release that tank, and they'll release it to their kids and to their friends and to their partners and their colleagues and so on, or someone they meet, and
like a snowball effect
in traffic. It's like, like my way is more important.
I'm more important.
I'm going this way, and don't cut me off. You know, it's like he's just in a hurry. Maybe he's had a bad day. Maybe his child is sick and he needs to get to the hospital. I don't know. There's always some kind of explanation. But maybe that person is just more on fire than you are.
In that moment.
Especially if you can become aware of that fire. So I feel that when we get big and bold and independent, then we need to release some of that stuff, because it wasn't released. And also it affects the relationships that we have with the people that we associate with that pressure being built up, and that tank, the tank being filled up by them. So we kind of might maybe avoid those people or don't spend as much time with them, because we're like, you know, I'm associating.
It's all subconscious as well.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Yeah.
It can be conscious or subconscious, but let's bring it up to the conscious level. I suppose that's kind of what we're trying to achieve here as well. Is bring things up to the light of day, bring things up to the level of consciousness, so you can do something about it, and then therefore raise your level of consciousness, so you don't get caught out as much. So we're just trying to share these little tricks. So anyway, that was my thing, and I saw it, and I really just realized, and I just got up and I scribbled some things down, and it was just, I realized that there was just, that's why, again, sorry for jumping off again, but that's why people feel so good when they do express themselves. So like a singer sings a great song, or somebody paints a great painting, or some sporty person expresses themselves, their body, their physical body in some way, or someone bakes a really good cake, or someone makes a really nice, you know, garden, the flowers look great, or something. Just express, and because it's that release of that little bit that at the top of the tank that makes them feel so good, and they go back to it, and it's addictive because, I mean, so long as it's put into a healthy expression, and you get addicted to something like, you know, that's good for you and doesn't hurt anybody else, then that's a healthy way to express all of that stuff that was bottled up and capped and repressed. And that's important. Don't repress it. Don't repress those.
No, expression is the opposite of repression.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't repress stuff. If you feel that kind of stuff coming up in you, and I've become more aware of that as well recently, then it hasn't happened for a while, but it was really just useful because we're having these interactions. It was kind of like, well, I need to find out this. I need to pass this information on. So, and I realized, it just came to me. It was like, it's because you were capped. You were made feel small. Someone put a lid on your jar, on your tank, and the pressure built up, and there was just a feeling of uneasiness. And I was like, and when I wrote, I suppose that was a form of expression. So I expressed that out, and I wrote, I don't know, 2 or 3 foolscaps pages on it, and so, or if you write a book or something like that, or write a song, and all these things are expressing yourself in some way or another. So I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share that sometimes you feel energy, it's just to let you know that your tank is getting pretty full, and you might, if you don't pay attention to that feeling, you might just take it out on people you love.
And it could come at a time.
And I didn't this time, I promise.
No, you didn't.
I didn't take it out on because it was time to get up anyway. The sun was up and stuff, so I got up. And I just wrote this stuff down because I wanted to just say, okay, well, because sometimes I just write, and it just, the more you write, it just comes out, stuff comes out just automatically. And you channel the stuff, and in that way you can just actually find out, I get to the end of it without thinking too much because it just comes out. And that for me was, so it's always, psychological pain is always an indicator that something's not quite right. That in the same way the physical pain is an indicator of something is out of balance, and that it's a flare. It's the intelligence of the body in the physical sense, or intelligence of the mind.
Put a light on it to show you.
Flare to go up and shine this flare in the dark, because it's unconscious in that moment, and then it becomes conscious, and you can do something about it. You can apply these things. There's something I want to talk about in the next video, which is a good technique of how to change. You change the story that's in your mind, and that has a domino effect.
We'll take the boat out to sea.
Take the boat out to sea, yes. Whenever we're lost at sea. So that's wants to be. I think that needs to be the title of the next one. It's a mosquito, by the way.
Well, I killed the last one.
Yeah, he's gonna feast, I'm sure. It's very early for mosquitoes. End of April. Anyway. So I just wanted to share that psychological pain in particular. If you're just feeling a bit off, there's just something brewing. So it's pressure building up or whatever, and be careful you don't release it on other people. That just do something about it. Just be with yourself, I suppose, and just, where is the energy now?
Find out how you can get the vent. Find out where the vent could possibly be to help get it out.
And if you stay with it for long enough, you'll be inspired to know what's causing that. And for me, it was just a revelation. It was kind of like, oh, I forgot about that stuff, and that it's building up, whatever, blah blah blah, and that particular, as I said, something not, because just an energy that was sitting. And it was kind of like, let's find out where this is coming from, because this won't do. I'm not going to, I refuse to stay in a bad mood. I refuse to have this cloud, because it's just weather, psychological weather, stay for longer than it needs to. So it's all these little techniques that we're learning, and we're happy to pass them on.
Indeed.
Is that clear?
It was very clear.
Okay.
There was no chewing turf.
There was no chewing turf?
No chewing turf whatsoever. And there was no basicallys.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of the habit.
Guys, if anyone's watching this from watching the first episode, first couple of episodes, they'll know that
there wasn't any?
I don't know what's happened. I haven't heard of basically.
Well, you've made me, you brought it up into
your conscious
awareness. So I'm not allowed to use that as much as I used to.
No, but you didn't need to. That's the point. You were just channeling, and it was lovely.
Okay.
Do you want to see tea?
Yeah, why not? Have the last bit of tea. Sun is gone.
Sun's
for
gone.
quite a while. So
do you want to drink that so you get it warm?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
A hot drop.
So obviously, feel free to put into the comments anything that you want us to discuss, or anything that happened to you, or you're wondering why maybe something's happening, or why am I feeling this way. It might just be that we've come across this before and we can help you out.
And also to share with other people in the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So then they don't feel so alone, so disconnected, and it's not just them that's experiencing that thing. It's like, oh, that person feels it as well.
Because that's what we all think, is when people keep going, how are you? Grand, I'm fine, yeah, I'm great. Everyone's looking on Instagram and everybody's just really great. You have the hot drop there. So
That's okay, sweetheart.
Go on, to warm up. You then completely believe that everyone else is having this perfect life and everything's wonderful, and then you're thinking, well, what's wrong with me?
And that's why we wanted to do a warts and all approach to this whole thing, is to show that we're not perfect. Of course not.
But no one's perfect, but that's the
yeah,
perfection.
we're perfectly ourselves.
We're perfectly
at this particular stage in our journey. So
we can't
in a way, that is perfection. If you were to deeply accept that, then you would be completely free, because your full acceptance would be like, I'm perfectly where I am on this journey right now. And that's another thing as well. It's a big trap on the journey that I've found that a lot of people fall into, and I fall into myself. and we've fallen into it, of course, that you kind of like, you want to be more spiritual or you want to be more further along the journey, and it's like, that's ridiculous, because that's one of the biggest tricks of the voice in the head, or the bad beast, if you like, feeding the bad beast, is that it tricks you into thinking, oh, I should be further along.
I should be over there.
So it's exactly the same as the bored irritation, where I wish I was somewhere else.
Yes.
So it's the exact same energy, same thing. Watch the irritation and watch it pass.
Watch the energy and watch where it's come from, and have a look at it. Give it a bit of a side look, check it out, and then watch to see where it's going.
Yeah.
Because you can't. What you're saying is so interesting. It's like I don't know if anyone knows that episode, which we refer to sometimes, the episode of The Simpsons where Homer has the really spicy chili pepper.
Oh yeah, he trips out.
And he trips out, and the
tortoise.
The fox is Johnny Cash.
Oh yeah, Johnny Cash. Yeah.
Oh, Johnny Cash, amazing. The last album he did was fantastic, and
it's getting quite dark now.
And Homer's there's this tortoise like spelling something out, and he's like dying, like he's like, hurry up.
There's his impatience there.
And he's spelling out, just follow the tortoise. So then he's just like, oh my God. So he's like waiting, tortoise is like really slowly. And then he kicks him.
Yeah.
And then the tortoise just goes completely into their eyes, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
So you can't push the tortoise,
so that you can't push the turtle or the tortoise. The tortoise would make more sense in the desert, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be a very lost turtle, but then again, he was tripping off his head, so it could have been a turtle.
So yes, if you just accept where you are right now, that'll give you the most peace. No spiritual platitudes or meditation or whatever, alming or lotus position will.
You don't need to.
You don't need it. If you just deeply accept
everything,
what you are, of course. But I'm just saying, everything, of course. But what I'm saying is that you just accept where you are in your journey now, and that's where you're supposed to be. Because that's having faith. Because otherwise, you're questioning reality at the most fundamental level, and you're saying that reality's got it wrong. So even if even if you're an atheist, that your learned mind, which is programming that you have been programmed with since birth, knows better than that which
is expressing itself.
It's expressing itself in every moment perfectly, and keeps everything.
It's like,
everything like in Star Wars. It's the Force that surrounds you. It penetrates you. It sustains you. So you know, if you're going to say that your learned mind, which is just a whole load of bunch of learned stuff from people who are asleep and unconscious anyway, who taught you these things, knows more, it's not true. So just accept where you are on your journey, and that'll give you the deepest amount of peace on your journey.
That you'll need to.
And if you're constantly, it's like someone said once, it's like there is no way to peace. Peace is the way. Yeah. It's like you have to be peaceful, and then just peaceful, and just peaceful, and peaceful, and peaceful. It's like then there is nowhere to go really, because there's only the present moment. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. That's something that we have found out to be 100% correct, and we don't always remember it, but we remember it more and more as we go along on our journey, that you're always exactly where you're supposed to be experiencing, exactly what you're supposed to be experiencing right now. And if you can even just for fun, that's because we're trying all these techniques, allow yourself to believe that, even just for 10 seconds, and
can't
feel.
Lose anything, and the part of you that says there is something that can lose is the part that is
doesn't
not.
want you to find this out.
That is not.
Doesn't want you to experience it. Doesn't want you to feel the relief that comes with just deep acceptance of where you are and what you're doing and how you're feeling. Even the bad stuff, even accepting your annoyance. Because accepting your annoyance is like the tiger. You're seeing the tiger. You're seeing your boredom. You're seeing your annoyance. You're seeing your anger, and it goes away by itself. As long as you see it.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Everything passes. Nothing stays. Nothing does.
No, of course not. The universe is constantly in flux. So nothing ever repeats itself in exactly the same way. Not in exactly the same way. Ever. So it's constantly recreating it. It's just basically all potential expressing itself endlessly. And that's the only way in words, like, making noises that other people can relate to. You can't capture reality intellectually. It's impossible, because your intellectual capacity is a byproduct of creation. So you can't capture all of creation in a commentary, in a comment bubble. So, but for me, it's just all potential expressing itself, and it's endlessly expressing itself in different ways, and you are part of that expression. So you belong here, and you have a right to be here, and you've been picked to be expressed.
Yes, you won the golden ticket of awareness,
of conscious awareness, of existence, of being expressed and being surrounded by all the other expression that surrounds you and sustains you.
The odds of that. That's. You can even say it's magic. The odds that you exist right here, right now, are so infinitesimally small. You won the universal lottery, guys. Yeah. Congratulations, you exist.
Congratulations.
You're here.
You're here. And thank you for being here with us.
And thank you.
Really appreciate it. It's lovely doing these videos, and it's lovely getting the comments and connecting with people. So this is what we'll continue to do for as long as people want to connect.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's getting quite dark, so we'll leave it at that.
What is
there anything else you want to say?
The quote.
Which one?
The sun's getting low or something.
Oh yeah, for the Hulk.
Oh, so sweet. Sun's getting real low or something. Real low.
Yeah, just calm, guys. Just peace is available to all of us. We just have to remove the barriers to it. But you're only going to remove the amount of barriers that you're supposed to remove.
Yes.
Don't get caught up on removing more barriers than have been removed up to this point.
Be where you are.
Yes. This is it. Yeah.
This is it. And this is where all the good stuff is. It's just going, oh my God, I'm completely present.
And then it's gone
again. Oh my God. And you're just kind of frozen, and then you kind of flop into these moments of complete presence that you're like, I don't want to leave. Oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. Nothing is happening, yet I have joy. So it's joy without cause. You're just completely, oh my God, just being alive rocks. Just the cake rocks. We've all been given a cake, guys, and we've been told that we need to ice it to make it special, to make it amazing. We don't. It's already amazing. It's just sprinkles. If they fell off, it wouldn't matter. The cake is all that matters, guys, and we already have the cake.
Everyone has it.
We all have the cake, and the cake is just our ability to open up and feel and connect with life. And it just feels so good when you have faith and you don't have fear. When you remove those walls that are blocking you to connecting.
And that's the indication that you're going the right way, is that you're given a reward, a feeling of well-being. We all just want to feel better, don't we?
We all just want to get along.
Can we just get along? Can we?
We can.
Let's. Until the next time.
Bye, guys.